Americans who were caught in the financial crunch, the meltdown, who couldn't pay their mortgage and had a bank foreclose on them, have a new hero. His name is Patrick Rogers. Of the millions of people who have had a sheriff show up to confiscate the assets in their homes, Mr. Rogers is one man who has managed, one might say, to turn the amortization tables. And that is because Mr. Rogers, a heavy metal concert promoter and DJ, has foreclosed on his bank. Yes, his bank. The Wells Fargo home mortgage branch at 1341 North Delaware Avenue in Philadelphia, which, according to an official notice from the city's sheriff, will have its assets seized on March 4th so that they can be sold in order to pay an outstanding debt to Mr. Rogers. We reached Patrick Rogers in Philadelphia.
Patrick Rogers, take us back to how this whole thing began. What was it that the bank did that put you in a position where you felt you had to go after them?
Well, there were some peculiar charges I was seeing on my monthly mortgage statement, and I didn't really understand them, and I wanted some more information. So I had sent the bank a few letters that they hadn't responded to, and I thought, well, it's time to really find out exactly what my rights are as a consumer. And I did some research, and I found out that there's a law here in the United States called RESPA, and it governs mortgages and the servicing of mortgages. And the RESPA law, among other things, says that if you send a written request formatted a certain way to a mortgage company, they must acknowledge that request within 20 business days, and within 60 business days, they have to conduct an investigation, supply you with the results of that investigation, and provide you with the name and phone number of someone who works for the company that can help you with your questions. So I thought, great, this is a solution to my problem. I wrote them the qualified written request as required by RESPA. When the 20-day period had passed and they hadn't responded to it, they hadn't acknowledged it, I sent them a follow-up letter. And when the 60 business days had passed and there'd still been no response of any kind, I sent them another letter saying, please respond to this or you leave me no option but to litigate, which is not what I wanted to do, but there was absolute radio silence from the bank.
And what was it that you had questions about that Wells Fargo was doing?
There were strange charges on the bill. There were charges for inspections, sometimes twice in a month, but nobody had been here to inspect the property. There was a charge that was just listed as uncategorized, and some of my payments on my mortgage were being listed as unapplied, which was something I didn't understand at all. So there were a number of irregularities that were happening with the accounting practices that they were employing for my mortgage.
There was also something about the insurance that was being paid on the property and its replacement value. Can you explain that?
Well, we did have a dispute over insurance. About 2 years ago, my insurance company advised me that Wells Fargo had told them they were now insisting that I insure my house for the replacement value. And let me explain why that's significant. I'm in a lovely 100-year-old house in a nice part of town, but we're about 5 minutes away from the wrong side of the tracks. So the real estate values here are neither low nor high. They're somewhere in the middle, trending low. But because my house is 100 years old, it's beautiful. There's a lot of old stone. There's a ton of hardwood. The craftsmanship is just incredible, and the materials are beautiful. So when I bought my house around 9 years ago, I paid $180,000 for it. And according to the insurance company's estimate, the replacement cost, the cost that it would be to rebuild the house if it were struck by a meteor or burned down or something, was over $1 million. So Wells Fargo now wanted me to carry $1 million of insurance on a house that I paid $180,000 for that I owed $120,000 on, which completely baffled me. And I said, look, I'm willing to carry insurance to cover what I owe you, or even if necessary to cover the value of the house, but I can't afford, nor would I ever agree to carry $1 million of insurance. That's 5 times what the house is worth.
So what did they say?
They said, if you don't do it, we're going to do it for you, and that's exactly what they did. I refused to renew the policy at the higher price, and they bought a policy with another company and attempted to charge me back for it.
And then this dispute blew up. They refused to answer your questions, and you got a judgment against them.
I did indeed. I did not have any luck finding an attorney that was interested in pursuing the case. They said, look, if the bank was trying to foreclose on you, we'd have something to work with, but since they're not, it's really hard to be proactive and go after them. So I served as my own attorney. I took the bank to Philadelphia Municipal Court, and I won the case, and I got my judgment.
So you've basically foreclosed on the bank branch.
Well, the foreclosing part on the bank came after that. I figured once the judgment happened, somebody from Wells Fargo would be keen to speak to me, but that wasn't the case. They ignored the judgment, so I got a writ of execution saying that I was going to pursue their property here in Philadelphia. They didn't respond to that either, so I had the sheriff place a levy on their Philadelphia branch, and when they still didn't pay, I ordered a sheriff's sale on that branch. So as of right now, March 4th is the sheriff's sale scheduled date, and unless something happens, the contents of their office, the furniture, the copiers, computers, all of it could be sold at a sheriff's sale. How
much do you think it will get?
To be honest with you, I haven't been to that office, so I don't know how nice their furniture is. But I'm a fan of all things Western, so I'm hoping they have a lot of nice old Western furniture in there, because I'll bid on that myself.
This isn't that much money, right?
It isn't that much. And levity aside, I would be very shocked if they allowed it to go so far that the sheriff's sale would actually happen. But again, I'm shocked that it's gone this far. The fact that a Fortune 5 company would allow themselves to get to the point where someone could order a sheriff's sale on their branch in a major city boggles my mind.
You feel like a hero?
No, I don't feel like a hero, but I definitely feel like a David in a David and Goliath situation, and I feel like I've gotten some of what's due to me. I'm not done yet, but I feel like I'm off to a good start.
Well, I guess we'll find out March 4th whether you get your money or your Western furniture.
I suppose we will.
All right, Mr. Rogers, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, good to speak with you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Patrick Rogers is a homeowner in Philadelphia.